So we're down here just outside Leeds in a retail park, and I can tell you're thinking, what the hell are you doing in a retail park, Darren? Well, I'm about to take you just behind us and show you why we're here. Come on, let's go. So we've just moved 50 yards across the road from the retail park, and look what we have here behind me. Now don't worry, this line is not in use. Where we're heading today, it's just behind the camera up here, and we're going to take you to what is known as the oldest railway, which was built in 1758. So we're going back quite a few years here, and it's known as the Middleton Railway. And I can hear you thinking, where is it? I didn't know that. Well, I'm going to explain to you in this video a bit more information about the line, but I've got to be careful because I'm walking on the sleepers down here, trying not to break my neck. But I'm going to tell you a bit more information about the line, and we're hopefully going to take a lovely journey on the steam train as well. Now, if you watched my Middleton Park video, you would have seen in there that I went to the station in the park for this railway. And that's where we're going to be heading today. So we're down here on Moor Road in Hunslet, and we're going to head all the way up to Middleton Park and the halt that's up there now. So we're all aboard. I've got my mask on ready, and we're going to head that way towards the Middleton Park halt station. So I'll see you a bit further up. Here with Ian Smith, who's a Vice President on the Friends of Middleton Railway, and he's going to tell us a few facts about the railway. Ian, over to you.
The Middleton Railway is the world's oldest railway. 1758 it was built, and the reason it was built was to bring coal from Middleton area into Leeds, and so they decided to build the wagonway. Now, the first wagonway actually was built in 1755, and that went down to Thwaite Gate. The problem with Thwaite Gate was that wasn't where the town of Leeds was developing.
So we're making our way up to Middleton Park, and it's quite a steep gradient actually. I didn't realise how steep it was. So we left the station down there, and it's probably just over a mile in length.
They then decided, okay, we better bring it to where we do need it, which is where Leeds Bridge is today. And so they decided to build this wagonway. They decided they needed wayleaves to build it. Wayleave means permission to build the railway on people's land. And that was where they went to Parliament to get the Act of Parliament. And in 1758, when that Act was done, that made us the first railway ever to be authorised by such an act. That's why we are the world's oldest railway.
We're just approaching into the bottom end of Middleton Park now. You can just see the John Charles Centre for Sport to my right. What a great view, and also that smell of the steam just smells amazing. I've missed that so much.
Since then, this railway has operated trains every single year since 1758, and no other railway can match that. John Blenkinsop had seen Catch Me Who Can, or he'd certainly heard of it. He talked to the local engineer, Matthew Murray, and between them they came up with Salamanca, which was the world's first commercially successful steam loco. The design was exported And the Belgians and the Germans each tried to build them. They couldn't quite do it, unfortunately. I don't think they had Vorsprung dirt technique in those days. And in June of 1960, they ran passenger trains. And that became, because of that act, we were the very first standard gauge heritage railway. The Bluebell Railway in Sussex was the first ex-British Railways line, but we were the very first of all of them. Now, as you can see, we have this magnificent building. We have the trains running up and down. We have very, very good workshops, and we are very much a part of South Leeds' history.
Just had our ride on the steam train, and I've got to say that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And we're back down here at Moor Road. The guys are just cleaning the carriages ready for the next one, which leaves very shortly. So what we're going to do is now head off into the engine shed just down here, where they've got a lot of locos and things on display. It's like a mini museum. Opened as a wagonway in 1758, like I said earlier on, but they've also ran the first steam trains on this line in 1812. Now just think about how old that is, and they've been running the volunteer steam service here since 1960. Now if you remember when we did the Middleton Park video and we looked at the electric tramway in the park, well that ran down here this way. It used to follow the original line, so you've got the Middleton Railway here, which would have run down this original line this way, and right next to it, coming out of the park, you had the electric tramway, which would have been right where that shed is there now, coming down from the park and running this way through where this shed is as well, and onwards down to Leeds. Now just down here we have an original piece of track that would have been where the tram line, or the electric tramway, crossed the Middleton Railway here. So I'm just stood around the back of the engine shed where the station was for the railway. So I got off the train just up there, and as you can see here we have rails that come out of the yard and down the side of this engine shed here, and they work their way out and across the road there, and it would have joined what is now the Middleton Railway. So let's head a bit further down, but further back up the track from where we've just been towards Middleton Park. There was another junction there, and it used to go underneath the Great North Railway under a bridge, and just before it there was a branch line that branched off there as well and went up to join the GNR just up there before the park. This was the Middleton Railway branch. Now I'm told that this line is out of use, but they can use it if they need to. As you can see, it's pretty good condition here. So if they wanted to bring any rolling stock onto the Middleton Railway, they would obviously have to do it this way. It's the only access point into the railway now, because the Great North Railway junction that I was talking about is long gone now. And the top end, when it hits Middleton Park, is a dead end. So you can't bring anything that way. So just where I'm stood now is where I started the video. We've got the retail park over there, the Tulip Retail Park. And you can see that the line continues straight down there to the white gate in the distance. That's where the Middleton Railway is, just down there. Now I've got a picture to show you which was taken from a roughly, I'd say about here now where I am. So I'm just going to show you this picture. This is quite an old picture and it shows what was there before the retail park on the left. So you can see some industrial units there, and same on the right as well. I think the ones on the right are still there today. You can't see it because of the tree in my view now. But you can see the line as it heads down there. So we've reached journey's end of the only remaining access to the Middleton Railway from the main line. So as you can see here, the line just stops. And then there's some gates there, and it's well overgrown behind there, so I'm sure if they brought anything onto the main line, they would have to clear all this out to get through. But it will join the main line, which is just there, the Midland. Okay, so we're now going to head right to the top end of the Middleton Railway. So where we exited the train at the Middleton Park halt, I actually didn't get off the train, but where you would exit there, like I said in a previous video, it would have continued all the way up there, up the hill, past the Middleton Colliery and the brickworks and everything. And it was actually used as an incline railway, pulled by cables. So when it got to the incline, the carriages would have been hooked onto a cable, where it will have pulled it up the hill, right to the top. Now that line is long gone, and it, like I said, it terminates now at the park halt. But what we're going to do, I'm just going to head right to the top of Middleton Park and show you a picture that I've got of the winding gear that used to wind the cables up the hill to pull the trains up. And it's right at the top of the park in a housing estate now. So we're going to drive up there and just have a look round, see if there's anything left of that. I don't think there is, but we might be able to point out where it was. So I'll see you up there. Okay, so we've made our way up to the top side of Middleton Park, which would have been the very top of the incline, the tramway coming up, which is now, like I said, the original Middleton Railway. And right at the top of the hill, just near Town Street, which is just behind me up there. And I'm going to show you down here now. Now this is the original route of the tramways. It made its way all the way down to where the Middleton station halt is, the Middleton Park station. And right in the middle of that would have been the Middleton Colliery and the brickworks. So I'm going to turn you around now and show you. You can see how steep this incline is. So at the minute we've got steps in front of us which head down the hill. This would have been a straight line right down into Middleton Park, and it would have bent down towards the colliery and then down to where the station halt is. Now I'm going to show you a picture, and it shows the engine house on the right hand side and the cables that would have pulled the trams or the trains up the hill, up the incline. So you can see that clearly there, and that would have been roughly around where I'm stood now. Now you can see some original wall just over there, which I'll show you in a minute, but it's now a housing area. So all that engines, the building that you saw, the engine house, would have been somewhere around here. This would have been the very top before it levelled out. Now I'll just show you this original wall here. That's a very old wall, you can tell. So I reckon that was something to do with the original buildings that were here. And if you look down there, we've got a spare piece of land, and you can see a retaining wall there. So here's that wall from the other side. So I just stood up there. This is the wall, so I reckon that was the building there. And you can see the wall coming down on this side here on a slope. So like I said, that would have been the incline railway there, or the tramway there, going up before it hits Town Street at the top. So we've just made our way a bit further down the incline, and you can see a better view here. You can see Middleton Park there in the distance. So that would have been the site of the Middleton Colliery, somewhere in the middle there. And the Middleton Park halt is just down there in the distance. Okay, so let's head back up to the top. I'm going to show you one more picture taken at the top looking down, and again the engine house at the front. So we've reached the top, and you can just see Town Street there in front, and then looking back down the incline here. So the steps that I was on is just down there. So this would have been roughly where the engine house was, on the right here where these houses are. So I'm going to show you another picture now should have been taken from somewhere around here, looking that way. So there you go, you can see the engine house and the giant rotating pulley, or the engine, the wheel that would have turned the cables to drag the carriages or the trains up the hill towards it. It almost looks like a cable car the way it's above. But the incline's so steep it had to be higher up. There you go. So you've now seen most of the points that are remaining on the railway. So we've looked at the Middleton Steam Railway, which is what is left of the original one. And then we went down to the bottom side to see where it joins the Midland line. And then now we're at the top of the site, where you can see at the top of the incline. There isn't much more left. Like I said, if I showed you the middle section where the colliery was, that's all been re-landscaped now. There's a brand new park there, and they've totally changed everything, so you won't see anything remaining around there. Now we are going to do a video later on which looks at the Middleton Colliery, so keep your eyes peeled for that one, because we will head down there for that. Well, I hope you enjoyed our fantastic journey there on the Middleton Steam Railway, and once again a big thanks to Ian and the team, and also Chris, for letting us come down here today and experience that. I mean, like I said, you don't realise we have the oldest railway here, right on our doorsteps. And a lot of people still don't know that. But if you do fancy a day out down here at the Middleton Railway, it's very easy to find. They operate on certain days of the week, mainly Sundays, especially through the current times that we're in now with the COVID. So on a Sunday, they run the steam services all the way from 11 AM till 4 PM. So get yourself down, bring the kids. You can even bring the dogs as well. They're welcome dogs on board. But from me, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to see you in the next one, which is where I'm going now. But thanks for joining me here on AdventureMe. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for free by clicking the logo here and click subscribe. Like the video and put any comments you have down below. If you would like to support the channel or would like to make a donation, there are links in the description below. And finally, a big thank you to our existing supporters of the channel. See you on the next adventure!